for joining me today, Mitchell. So where are you based? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm in central Pennsylvania right now. I was born in Pittsburgh, so like Western Pennsylvania, and I'm in college now, so I live here full time.
Nice. What do you study in college?
I'm a business major, so my backup plan, if e-commerce doesn't work out, which it doesn't look like it's not going to work out now, but my backup plan is to go into management consulting. So I've always been obsessed with New York City. My brother went to college there, and we went and visited him quite a lot. And I absolutely love the city. I love how everyone there is making money and moving around, and it's such a crazy city. So I that's definitely my backup plan is management consulting.
Nice. And so was that like was a management consult? I mean, these people making good money, right, in management consulting?
Yeah. So especially if you go to a high cost of living area like New York City, they're going to be making like 70K at least coming out of college.
A month or a year?
A year, yeah.
Oh.
And then which for New York City that's not a lot, obviously, but it's definitely a lot of money for someone coming right out of college. And then you could go pretty far with it. A big part of it is just getting that sort of experience on your resume because, I mean, consultants are problem solvers, just like people that are in e-commerce. So having that like badge of honor on your resume that you're a consultant, to me, is that would be pretty valuable.
Well, so what attracted you? Okay, so you had this like pass pretty much to go to college. Obviously you can have a high paying career, as you said, in management consult. What attracted you to e-commerce like in the first place?
I think this is going to be the answer that a lot of people have, but I don't want to have someone tell me what to do. Having a boss is something that I've absolutely hated for the 3 jobs that I have had. And I mean, I'm only 21 now, so I haven't had an actual career where I've been forced to sit in a box in an office all day, but I have had jobs where I've had a boss that would tell me where to be, like where to be when I had to be there, and didn't really give me a good answer why. And as someone that, well, I mean, when I was growing up, I was told I could do anything. So having someone above me that doesn't have really much education, doesn't really have much like valuable work experience telling me what to do, I can't do that. That's not something that I could see myself sitting there and taking for 45 years until I retire. That's not me.
Interesting. And so how's like, did you have this conversation with your parents? Like, did they like, okay, you have to go to college? Are they supporting your e-commerce like journey, your experiments that you're doing right now?
Yeah. So actually I started e-commerce my first semester of my first year of college mainly because there's a lot of kids around me that actually had other side hustles or business opportunities going on. Like I had a kid that lived on my floor my freshman year, first year, that had like 3 rental properties already.
Oh, nice.
I was like, damn, like you could actually do that. Like he was 17 at the time, because like a lot of kids in America, they're either 17 or 18 going into college. He was 17.
Wow.
And he managed 3 rental properties. So seeing something like that, I was like, damn, like I could actually do this. So I started doing e-commerce. I was, I have the story like everyone has where they try it on their own. They maybe buy a pre-built store or something. They get a mentor eventually. So yeah, that's kind of my story. But I started it my first year, and I didn't really tell my parents about it at the start, obviously because I wasn't making any money, and I was just following like YouTube tutorials. I bought like a few courses that weren't too expensive, and I didn't even make a single sale for months. And eventually,
what kept you moving though, right? Okay, so because this is so standard if you think about it, right? Like 99% of people, like maybe not 99, let's say 90% of people like starting any opportunity, right? They start it, they try it, and it doesn't work. It's a scam, right? They just move on to something else. Like there's like there's like a crypto, there's like I don't know, Amazon FBA, there's like there's obviously many opportunities to make money, right? But people are giving up on the opportunity. Most people, they're giving up on the opportunity like too fast, right? So what kept you moving, right? Okay, so you had those first things, you bought a few courses, didn't work out for you. Like what kept you pushing throughout those experiences and still trying and still trying to figure it out?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I don't really have a great answer to it. I think it's just pretty intrinsic, and I think it's something that I really grew up with. So my dad is an entrepreneur. He's had
Mm-hmm.
like a small home inspection business for since before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he would tell me pretty much every day that entrepreneurs are the best people on the planet. They solve other people's problems, which is what everyone is looking for. Everyone is looking to get their problems solved. So I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And if you ask me why I still went to college when I knew I could be an entrepreneur, I don't really have a great answer for that. I guess I was trying to play it safe. But
Mm-hmm.
I was told to be an entrepreneur pretty much every day. When my dad got home and he sat down for dinner, he would go on his long talks about how entrepreneurs are the best, you know. So I think, you know, when I was 3, 4 months in after a few product tests from buying a few different courses or going through YouTube tutorials, um, I didn't really feel like a failure because I mean it's part of the entrepreneurial journey is to have those failures so you can learn from them. Like I don't
Mm.
think 3 or 4 months is a long time frame at all to be an entrepreneur.
Man, this is such a good point, right? Because I think people like getting in a business overall, like again, any opportunity doesn't matter. You start like a local business, like you said, your dad had, or starting e-commerce business, having the right expectations, what it takes, right? To start a business and to actually get it to momentum. Because initially, I mean, you don't know many things, right? And there's a learning curve. You know, there's a skill, gap, right? That you don't have particular skills. There is mindset, adjustments that you have to make. But just having those like proper expectations when you're getting into the business in the first place, I think it's so crucial, right? Because like you came into this like with the right mindset, and so yes, thing that doesn't, something doesn't work out right away, okay, but you keep adjusting, you keep tweaking, you're looking for another solution, you're looking for another solution, and eventually you figure out the solution, right? And so, and for me, the way I see it, that learning curve, it's like a tipping point, right? It's like you going up, it's like it's hard, right? It's hard and it's like up and down, it's up and down, but then at some point, and you will experience, I mean, you already experienced it that first, like you're already doing like what, 1K a day?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I had my ad account disabled, which I'd love to talk about. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, around it's like 2 weeks ago now, but around Valentine's Day, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And so, and we'll talk about it. It's part of the journey, right? Like any business, any business you start, and we're so dependent on platforms. We're, like for example, with e-commerce, it's also part of the things that people need to realize that we're dependent on platforms in many cases, right? And
Mhm.
but it's like the important things to realize is that if there is a problem, there is a solution. You're not the first, right? And even like people that have brands, people have successful businesses, they facing these issues on a day-to-day basis, right? There's something always like goes down, there's something doesn't work out, there's some technology that breaks, or platforms give you a hard time, but there is always a solution to that problem, and it's good that you mentioned that, because like one of our clients, like literally one of our he's a friend at this point too, Vilan, he was like one of our clients. And I remember, he was like on YouTube, he started his business, he had some initial momentum, and then his ad account went down, right? And I remember he posted a question in the in on the YouTube, right? And so I answered the question like, what I do, like my ad account went down, it was, everything was looking promising, and I gave him feedback. Okay, you just start like another profile, get another setup, another BM. There's different ways that you can make it happen, and he recovered from that, and so 2 years after he did that, like it was some time ago, he sold his business for millions of dollars. He sold his business for $3 million. And he was making like $1 million a year in profit from his e-commerce business before he sold it. So he made $1 million a year profit. And then, he's also sold the business for, multiple seven figures, which is, it's life-changing, right? Like those kind of amounts, even if you put it, like, as you said, in real estate or other assets, or just, have like a massive war chest, that you don't have to worry about money, like pretty much, like most people. And it's incredible. But if he didn't overcome that, if he didn't push, if he decided, okay, it doesn't work, maybe I shouldn't do this anymore, maybe I should do something else, like it just doesn't work this way. Life works with consistency, right? And if you put yourself in some opportunity and you keep hammering it and keep finding solutions to the problems that occur, that's when eventually you have that massive success that can set you for life.
Yeah, it's so easy to quit. I mean, that's something that I've learned from watching so many other people even try to do this. Like, I mean, I was in another mentorship before BBA, which I'd love to talk about, but watching so many people have the exact same course, the exact same access to calls like I have, and the exact same problems, and watching them quit compared to me staying in now I'm in 4.5 months in BBA. And if you just don't quit, there's no way for you to lose. And part of not losing isn't just making money. Like, the making money is great, but becoming the type of person that doesn't quit, for me as a young kid, is even better, because now I have the muscle pretty much of not quitting. I have the muscle of discipline. I have the muscle of doing work when I don't want to do work. Like, I was up until 2:30 or 3 a.m. last night editing, because I set out a goal for myself to get the creative done, and I wasn't gonna stop, even though I had an interview in the morning.
Oh man, thank you so much for making this. Like, is this overlapping with your studies, with your like classwork, or no?
No. I have a class I have a business writing class at 12:30, but it's not gonna overlap, so I'm good.
Man, thank you for staying at it. And we'll talk about BBA and kind of the most helpful things that were that were there for you, that help you. So I want to just kind of like set up the foundation for kind of just the mindset that you need to have right before you get into a business, right? Because most people, I believe, just like giving up too early, and that's literally the difference between people that succeed, people that you see like over time. Oh, it's like I build this, successful business. People that you see on YouTube, people that you see like everywhere. That is literally like every one of those people had those experience when they were like this close to giving up, or they were like, or facing the challenges that, even thinking of my journey, I'm thinking, so many times where I was like, we had our Stripe shut down, we had our ad account shut down like many times. There's so many things that can go wrong in business, right? Not just this business, any business, right? And you just have to stay at it. And if people have that mindset, then all of those tactics like that you learn along the way, then like boom, you find a solution, and eventually you hit it.
Yeah, there's no like one time where you're gonna solve the problem that you're facing and then it's just gonna be easy after. I mean, I solved the problem of learning how to make money online, right? Like, now it's been years in total of learning how to copyright, learning how to edit ads, learning how to speak to emotions when I'm writing. And that was like literally the hardest thing I've ever done, right? And now I'm making, I mean, I have a picture of, I was in one of my entrepreneurship classes here. I take an entrepreneurship class, and I have my Shopify open in class. I'm taking the picture, and I've made like $650 by the time like the morning of the classes. So being able to do that was hard, right? But there's still obviously problems, like you said. So now I'm dealing with Facebook ads, or my Facebook ad account getting disabled, my business manager getting restricted, all that sort of stuff. So there's never a time when you're just going to be free of problems. I mean, even you have 100 million, whatever in sales, and you face problems every day. That's just how it is. So that's why I like to say that like building the muscle of being a problem solver is so important, because you're never just going to be free of problems. That's not how the world works.
Yeah. And we admire all of these entrepreneurs that have done amazing things, like Elon Musk, for instance, even like as an example, right? Like one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our time, probably the most successful. And Tesla was this close to getting bankrupt. His other company, the SpaceX, was this close. They did unsuccessful launches, right? And those are not stupid people. Like, he's not stupid, right? It's not like he's like, and he has a lot of connections, access to capital, like the smartest people on planet Earth, and still some things don't go as planned. It's just part of the plan, part of the journey, right? And but then you overcome those, it becomes a little bit easier, and but then you face other level of challenges, right? And so that's what entrepreneurial journey is all about. A lot of people, like, I mean, as you can see, like on Instagram, they show their best moments, they show the cars, they show the mansions, they show the travel, they show the lifestyle, right? But the stuff that goes beyond the scenes, like in order to get to that level, to enjoy those things, there's a work that you have to put in, and there's the discipline, and there is overcoming and troubleshooting on a day-to-day basis, that, as you said, you have to be the kind of person that is ready for those challenges, and you just like get from one level to another. You're ready to overcome bigger challenges, and that's how you get to the top.
Yeah, I think Elon Musk is a great example, because I mean, Tesla is after PayPal, right? He made his hundreds of millions of dollars with PayPal, and then he goes and tries to start a car company, and it's failing, and that's when he's sleeping on the factory floor and working 16, 18-hour days, whatever it is. Like he literally already made hundreds of millions of dollars. He's the type of person that makes money. He's the type of person that solves problems, and he's still like running or trying to run a company, and it's failing. So you definitely have to be the type of person that solves the problems no matter what it takes.
What do they teach? I'm very curious. Like, what do they teach in a business school? Do they give you like case studies, or when they teach like entrepreneurship, they give you case studies? How do they, like, what do they teach, and whether what they teach is like, did you find any application of that in the like real world?
Yeah, so it really depends on what classes you take. So I go to a big state school, so I could really take a ton of different classes. I will say the one thing I don't like is you do have to take a lot of gen eds, which are general education courses. So I mean, I've been a business oriented person my entire life. I love business. I am an entrepreneur, and I'm still over here taking a science class, or a class about the moon. I had to take an astronomy class, like stuff like that. So your first 2 years are gen ed classes, pretty much. So you're taking English, you're taking math, you're taking some like science courses, stuff like that. And then recently, now that those first 2 years are over, I'm into my major classes. So I am taking more business classes. So I'm learning a lot of stuff like organizational behavior and design, like management versus leadership, how to like have a vision for a company, all that sort of stuff. So I will say that some of it is valuable, but a lot of it is really, really big picture stuff that you could read in a book. So like an example is like, make sure as a manager that you do not yell at your employees and you are nice to them. And it's like come on, I knew that. It's not something that I have to pay 36, I think it is 36,000 a year.
$36,000 a year for college.
Yeah, well, so it depends on if you're in state or out of state. If you live in the state that the college is in, then it's like half the price or something around there. But yeah, a lot of kids here are paying $30,000 to $40,000 a year to be here.
And you do that for 5 years, 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah, most are 4 years, some are 5 years. And then, I mean, some kids are staying for their MBA, or they're staying for their PhD. So, I mean, some kids are here for 8 years.
Wow. So it's like, it's a range between, let's say, $40,000 for that education, 40 to like 150 along those lines?
Yeah, it really depends on where you go to school, especially, I mean, private. If you go to I'm a public state school. If you go to a private institution and you go out of state, you could be paying $70,000 or $80,000 a year. It is absurd the amount of money that you would pay.
Wow. And then you land, like after that you land. I mean, obviously it's like you can land an opportunity and you can grow within the company and you can become a partner. Then, eventually you can be making, like in a few years, you can be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but not even everyone goes to that level, right? Like after graduating the college.
Yeah. So something that I think is really important to consider is people say that entrepreneurship is super risky because there's no guarantee that you're going to be making any money at all.
Mm-hmm.
But so is college. No one here that I know was a freshman and had a job lined up, like when they were getting out. You have to apply ruthlessly even to get an internship, which most of those are unpaid. So you have to work really,
Wow.
really hard. You have to work really, really hard in school to get a chance to work for free for a big company. And then from there, you kind of leverage that on your resume to be able to get a full-time job. But I mean, no one here has any guaranteed opportunities unless their dad is the head of the company or whatever. So it's like it is really, really risky to go pay $40,000, $70,000 a year at college because you don't even know if you're going to have a job after it.
Wow, man, this is fascinating. I have not. I'm very curious about these because I come from Ukraine and like I didn't go through these kind of like through the American educational system. So I'm very curious how this works. And now I have kids and like kind of like planning their their future and where they will go like in terms of schools and stuff like that. So it's very fascinating to hear this. So okay, so you said you started initially, you didn't have like a lot of traction with e-commerce. Like how much time was that into that experience? Like few months, you said 4-6 months, like you didn't have any traction at all, and then something started to change for you, or even more?
Yeah. So I was following YouTube tutorials. I was testing products, which like back then it was like very, very poor product pages and ads like I was getting from Fiverr, and I didn't know how to edit or anything. So yeah, I was doing that for months, and I kind of took a break. And it got into the second semester of my first year, which I don't know. I don't know if you know how like the semester, like you have like two like chunks of the year, and then you have your
Yeah.
break. So it got to the second semester, and I was kind of expecting stuff to work out, and it wasn't. I still had no idea what I was doing. So it got into the end of the second semester, and I came to my parents, and I was like, "Hey, I've been trying this drop shipping thing, and it sucks. It's not working at all. But I think I want to do it. So I'm going to look into a mentorship." So this was the summer of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no money, and I really wanted to join the mentorship. So I looked at everyone in the space, all the gurus, and I found someone that I really liked. I really liked how they spoke to their audience, and they had a profit guarantee. So if you got to the end of their 6 months and you weren't making money, then you could stay in the program until you are making profit. So I was like telling my parents about this, and they're like, "Wow, that's great." So I had a leased car at the time, and
What car?
it was a Subaru Impreza. It was like a little hatchback.
WRX or no? STI?
No. It was the basic model, a 2.0 liter. So yeah, I had that car, and that was right when the used car market was going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lease. So I used my parents' money for this, which I'm so grateful for that they had enough money where I could do this. But I bought the car from the Subaru dealership, and then I sold it to a private dealership.
Mm-hmm.
And from when we started leasing the car till the 2 year, I think it was a 2-year lease. After that, the price rose about $5,500 from there.
Wow.
So that was a huge opportunity for me. And I used my parents' money to buy the car, which was like 15 grand. I was 18, 19. I didn't have 15 grand for that. So I used their money. I bought the car, and I paid them back. But I sold that car, and I got my first mentorship program, and I was all in that summer. I was working like tirelessly. I was working with my parents. They were doing product research with me. I know I have pictures on my phone of them on like Dropship Spy or Dropship.io. I forget which one, but they're like scrolling through products and scrolling through AliExpress, trying to find products for me. Like we were all in. And I don't want to speak too poorly about the program, but it just was nothing compared to BBA. And I worked through that summer, and I tested. We tested in batches of products there on a general store. So we tested like 4 or 5 at once, 4 or 5 at once, 4 or 5 at once, and we went through the whole summer. I started going back to college for my second year, stuff like that, and I ended up having tested 17 products, and I hadn't seen any profit. I mean, the best that I was seeing was break even or like a little bit of profit, and then it would, the campaign would tank. So in this mentorship, I tested 17 products, and I had like pretty much nothing to show for it. And the thing that kind of sucked is, as a kid that is super distracted by Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, everything, I didn't really have any urgency. And I also had the backup plan of college. So I tested all those products, and I was like everyone else. I was actually in a mentorship, but I was still like, this is a scam. There's no way that I could do this. I had like so many limiting beliefs. And so I was going back to school, and I kind of just like gave up. Like I was still in the mentorship. I was joining some calls, but I always had it in the back of my mind that I had my college backup plan, and then I also wasn't getting kicked out of the mentorship. I wasn't paying for it. I was still just in the profit guarantee, they called it. So I had no urgency for like an entire year. I had this opportunity to just work hard and make a bunch of money in e-commerce. I was in a mentorship, and I wasn't doing it. So I was like, I had a lot of, over that last year, I had a lot of self-sabotage. I had a lot of fear of success, all those sort of buzzwords that we use now. But yeah, so it got to a point where I was really sick of it, and I kind of just gave up, and like I quit the program. And then funnily enough, I went to Funnel Hacking Live, and I know you were there. I didn't actually see you, but my dad does. My dad loves internet marketing, so we went to Funnel Hacking Live, and it was like, I think a day or two after that, I was like fuck it, I'm going to join BBA, because actually like 2 or 3 of the coaches that were in the other mentorship had gone through BBA and gone through ESS. So I don't know if I don't want to dox them, but that's they were good coaches, and it was mainly my fault that I wasn't making money. But yeah, so I wasn't making any money with that mentorship. I went to Funnel Hacking Live, and I saw how much money there is to be made in the world of entrepreneurship. And I joined BBA like 2 days later, and I still didn't have any money. So I took it out on a credit card, and then I did a balance transfer. And I don't know why, a credit card company would give me that high of a limit to even want to. I mean, I'm 21. I don't really have much credit history, but I mean, they let me have the credit limit. I paid for BBA, which I don't want to say the price, obviously, but I paid for BBA, and I did a balance transfer. And then I was still kind of didn't really have a sense of urgency, even in BBA, which is such an incredible program. We have 2 or 3 calls a day, 6 days a week. So there's so much opportunity to learn. And I still just didn't really have much urgency. And eventually it was in like November. I joined beginning of October, and it was like late November. I had this switch that flipped, and I don't really know how to explain it. I've thought about it for a long time, even before the interview, and I still don't know how to explain it. But something switched, and I just started testing products like crazy. So, I mean, that was three months ago now. I started testing products like crazy. I felt like I had everything. I'd learned everything I needed to know to get a bunch of tests off and really just start making money. I was so sick of being poor. So um, I tested 6 products in a row, like week after week after week, and they were all kind of bad or maybe break even. And then I had one that was the beginning of February this month. I mean, it just exploded. The first day I was on a brand new ad account, so I only had the $50 daily spend limit, and then I had like a crazy like 2 or 3 ROAS on my ads. And I talked to the Facebook support, and I was like, please increase my daily spend limit so that I could run more ads. And they increased it to 250, and I went all in. And I mean, the next day I had $450 in sales, and then the next day I had $600 something in sales, and the next day I had like $870 in sales, and just keep going up and up and up. And I mean, everything changed so fast, and it's just because I kind of realized that you have to put in the work. I was sitting there for so long. That year where I was in that mentorship, I was kind of in like the gray area of like in a mentorship where I should be working, but I'm not working, and kind of just using my backup plans as an excuse. Compared to actually flipping the switch on and just being a man and doing the hard work is a huge difference. And I mean, the results really show too.
Wow, man, this is incredible. So, so now looking backwards, like kind of like the experience you've had, and throughout that first experience, you said you've tested like 17 products or so.
17 in a row.
So, what was the like now looking now you have more experience, now you see what could have possibly been wrong? Like, was it like the wrong products that you chosen in the first place, or was it the strategy of testing? Was it the product pages? Where do you see the biggest like kind of opportunity that you have not seen?
It was all laziness. It was everything I was doing. I was being so lazy. I was finding products and then just creating the landing page within a few hours of starting or finding the products. So I wasn't doing any customer research and like doing any problem research, which is a huge thing, is actually finding out what exact problem the product is solving so that you're actually hitting to the emotions of the customer. So I was being lazy like that. I just had lazy landing pages, lazy product photos, and then super lazy with the ads. So I was still just using people on Fiverr and I was paying like the cheapest possible price that I could to find D2C ads on Fiverr. I was paying like $20 an ad, which, you know, like if someone is selling their services for $20 on Fiverr for an ad, like it's not going to work out. There's no chance of that ad being great. So I was those product tests, looking back on them now, were so just lazy. And I feel like a pit in my heart, like saying that, like I was being so lazy and I wasted so much time, but it's true.
Interesting. And so now, like, you editing, because I believe that, let's say now if you have a budget, you can hire someone, like as you said, like probably like not $20, but let's say you can pay someone more to create the ads. You still need to understand the ads, right? You still need to understand, the sequence of the ads. You still need to understand, those emotions. Those steps simply cannot be surpassed, right? And even in my business right now, like, we're doing very well, but I still know kind of the angles we're using. We're still doing like a lot of customer research, in order to sell the products. So what do you think? Why do you think people like missing that step? Just because of laziness, they just don't want to put in the work?
Yeah, it's I think it's a combination of laziness and then also not realizing how much work it actually is. So, I mean, learning like the frameworks of a good ad, so like using the AIDA model or using like having a bunch of different hooks, like different scroll stoppers, all that sort of stuff. That's all important to know. And once you kind of know that stuff, you use it every time without even like realizing it, without even trying. but there's so much work that goes into actually knowing what the product is doing. I think a lot of drop shippers are so lazy. They just find a product that, like one of my products was a knife sharpener, and
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, oh, this is a cool knife sharpener. I'm gonna try and run it. And then I was building out the product page, and my unique selling propositions were like that it looks cool and that it is made of wood. And looking back now, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, how is that what is going to differentiate me from everyone else that's trying to sell this product? Because I mean, if you look up knife sharpener on the ads library, you're going to get thousands. There's thousands and thousands of people I was competing with. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to stand out so much more than people realize. You have to put in so much more work into learning what the problem the product is solving than people realize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's and the landscape is like evolving, right? There's like, obviously with drop shipping, like with any other opportunity, it's, the barrier of entry is pretty low, right? And now we have all of these tools. We have, Shopify. Obviously, this, like, you can start for free, like with the trial they have, with all of the apps, like Spy Tools will give you the trial, so you can do the research. But it actually all of that information that you get, or even on ad library, as you said, you go and search for a specific product, and you will probably see hundreds or even thousands of ads from your competition. So, as you said, it requires you to think like kind of like more, outside of the box, right? Like, how do you position your product differently from all other people? And in many cases, I've seen people also modeling, let's say people modeling, some drop shipping stores or stuff like that, where those just come and go. Like, I've seen so many stores just kind of like go, they make a few dollars, with some products, and then they die. Which, on the flip side, the better kind of like strategies to just look and model more, like brands, right? And see how brands are selling, and brands specifically that are like consistently advertising for extended period of time, because now, like, you see that those are proven winners over time, and they have dialed in their product market fit and learning from those. Even right now, like, in our business, like, we have like swipe files of hundreds of brands, hundreds of different ads, hundreds of different landing pages. Like, we modeling, we're learning from each one of those, because it just like never ending process. As you said, like that, you can't just like put a random landing page, put a random ad. Like, it's like playing a lottery, right? Like, when you're just like, yeah, hopefully it wins, right? And then you make a few dollars, but you don't even know why it worked or didn't work, because you didn't put the necessary work up front in learning how you're different from everyone else.
Yeah, I think modeling big brands is something that's so overlooked and undervalued. I mean, even like I don't know how popular Get Hooked is outside of the community, but Get Hooked has been so valuable for me in finding what is actually working. And I mean, I've spent so I can't even count how many hours I've spent just in Get Hooked, looking at every single ad that people are saving in there, and
Mhm.
seeing what the first like few frames are, and then how the hook is going, and then how they're talking about the problem, and how they're introducing their solution, and how they're talking about their offer, and what's on the screen, and what background music is playing, how their captions are, all that sort of stuff.
Mm.
If you aren't putting in that work, if you don't know what is actually working, then you're not going to make it. You're not going to be like, I think it's really arrogant of me to think before that I was going to watch a few YouTube videos and know nothing about advertising and think that I could just put up a landing page and buy a $20 video on Fiverr and expect to make money with it. Like, that's just, it's not how it works. You're competing against so many different people. Because like you said, the barrier of entry is so low. And then, I mean, everyone knows the cost for advertising on Facebook is getting higher and higher. I mean, I was spending before my ad account got disabled, I was spending like $500 a day on ads, and
Mhm.
I'm competing against like PepsiCo, who is spending $3 million a day on ads. So you can't just have like the consumer can't be scrolling through their feed and see like PepsiCo video. They can't see like an ad from No Misk or an ad from Solar Wave or whatever, and then scroll through their feed and see an ad from Bleem, and then see my shitty ad that someone on Fiverr spent 15 minutes making, and be like, oh yeah, that's where I'm going to put my money. I'm not going to put my money into Bleem, or I'm not going to put my money into Solar Wave. I'm going to put my money into this unbranded general store with a shitty product page and a shitty ad. That's what I'm going to do. Like it's not how it works. You have to be more professional about it.
And so someone asked a question here. How did you solve this problem with low quality ads? Did you create them by yourself?
Yeah, I spent hundreds of hours in Premiere and learned how to edit videos. And there's no other way to put it. I've spent so much time on Get Hooked. I've spent so much time on the ads library, on my Naya or Dropship Spy, seeing what's popular. And I just put in the work. So now I could actually make a great ad that speaks to someone's emotions. I think the biggest thing that someone could take away from watching this interview is that there's absolutely no shortcuts at all. You can't pay someone $50 to put up a product page for you. You can't pay someone $200 to make an ad on Fiverr. It's just not how it works. You have to learn everything about marketing, everything about advertising, everything about video editing, everything about copywriting, and then that's when you'll start making money. That's when you might start making money.
And this resonates with me so much because, I just see like so many people starting business with those. Again, comes down to the expectations, right? Like how much work you have to put in, right? And it's not like instantly you will get rich. Like that's what people see. Like you buy an ad, and then like next day, you launch an ad, like you buy an ad on Fiverr, next day you buy a Lamborghini, right? Like that just doesn't work this way. And even if it happens, right? Even if it happens by some pure like accident, right? You won't know how to replicate it because, people that are successful in any line of business, again, doesn't have to be e-commerce. Those are the people that have mastered the craft, right? If you know the craft and if you know the moving parts, right now, like how to replicate it, because now you can, once the business starts to get momentum, you can hire someone, you can train them, you can give them feedback, because like what is good at and what is bad at, right? What is a good landing page and what is a bad landing page, right? And how to make those better in order to work for you. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating to me that so many people just kind of like surpass that stage. They just like, oh, it doesn't work, it's a scam. Business is a scam, drop shipping is a scam, e-commerce is a scam, Shopify is a scam, right? They're just like moving on to something else. And then guess what? I mean, those other opportunities also don't work out because they don't go deep enough like into that particular business and understanding how it works and how it's, how all of the moving parts are interconnected with each other.
Yeah, if you're going to buy a course on dropshipping or whatever and spend 5, 10, even 20 hours on it, and then call it a scam and think that affiliate marketing is the thing for you, or Amazon FBA is the thing for you, or whatever, you're just not the type of person that's ready to make money online yet. It's as simple as that. If you're going to not want to put in the work for an opportunity, then the medium of making money doesn't matter. You could have the medium of making money could be that you just catch money that's raining out of the sky. And if you're going to be a lazy asshole, then you're not going to catch the money. That's just not how it works. I mean, drop shipping, like you said before, it's such a low barrier of entry that anyone, even a kid from central or from Western Pennsylvania that has had no money at all could start making $1,000 a day. Like, it's so simple, but you have to put in the work. And if you're blaming the medium, then you're not the type of person that's just ready for it yet.
Such a good point, man. So what is I think just until this point, like it's there's so many takeaways from this, guys. You watching this, it's like you have to dedicate yourself to it, right? It's you have to dedicate and be ready that the results won't be instantaneous, right? But let's say, the way I always look at it, let's say the first year in business, even like very successful companies, like first year in business, like if you take there's this company that's that's very successful right now called Olipop. They make these like soda drinks that are, very good actually. I love those. And like first year in business, they made like $800,000. You know, and that's like first year in business, right? It's like now they're making like hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, but first year in business, it's not like they and like guaranteed. I mean, that first year in business, they didn't make much profit. They just kept reinvesting back into the business to get it momentum, right? And so people have this expectation that they will start a business and they'll be able to take like all of the money out of the business to spend it on lifestyle, which is promoted heavily on Instagram. People use lifestyle to sell things, and they think that they can skip this part in the middle. They can go from zero to this point, right, where they're making like a lot of money and not having this part in between, right? If business already successful, is business already profitable, you have the margin, you have the profit to hire some help, so you're not doing everything by yourself, then you can buy whatever you want, right? But you have to get the business to that point. You have to consistently reinvest back into the business, right, in order to get it to that momentum. And oftentimes that's like education, that's like mentorships, that's reinvesting into better softwares, like even softwares to help you, and different tools, spending your own time. So there's a bunch of things that you have to just be ready for if you're getting into business and you're truly committed to make it successful. But let's say first year it's slow, right? First year it's hard, right? Then next year it becomes easier because now you're smarter, now you have more skills, now you have like more like capital, you know exactly what to do. Then from there it just gets to that tipping point where things are getting a lot more streamlined. You can get money out of the business if you want to pay yourself, and you can enjoy some of that lifestyle. But people just want to totally surpass that stage, and it simply doesn't. It's not how things work in the real world.
Yeah, I think the flex culture on Instagram is so funny because people really believe it, that someone would build a massive business to where they could buy a mansion and buy a Lamborghini, and people think that they're just not going to reinvest the money and they're just going to like pretty much quit. Like if you're the type of person, if you build yourself to be the type of person who makes $1 million in profit a year from your business or whatever, then you're not the type of person that cares about what other people think and is going to want to post your Lamborghini on Instagram to get like 500 likes. That's just not the type of person you are. So I don't even understand why people believe that, because the people that are making $1 million in profit a year or whatever it is, they're the type of person who spent 5 years, 10 years, whatever, building themselves, building their business, building everything. So to think that someone is just going to like be like, oh, this is enough for me. Like it's not, that's not how it works. Someone that does that isn't going to be like, this is enough. I'm fine now with my Lambo.
Yeah, and you'll be overtaken. Like people with that mindset, like they will be overtaken by people that are hungry, that are reinvesting back into the business, that consistently innovating, consistently testing new things, consistently improving, like little by little, as you said, like the product pages, the product itself, right? The building the team and reinvesting back into the team. And I listened to some of these interviews, on different podcasts, and it's always almost always like the same story. First year in business, second year in business, the entrepreneurs are not making much money, and if they're making money, they're putting it back into the business, and that's what gives them the competitive advantage like later on, because now they have a better infrastructure to be more competitive, to innovate, to have great people on their team. So they 3, 4, or 5 years into the business, now they can do a lot more. They can buy all of that good stuff, afford a house, afford the Lamborghinis and stuff. But you just have to get to that stage when it's actually doable. It's not like sabotaging the business that you tried to build, and not reinvesting enough.
Yeah, my margins before my ad account got disabled, like I said, my margins were very good. I had like 45% margins.
Nice.
So I very well could have just taken the money out and gone. And I I need a TV in my apartment. Okay. Right now I have a very small TV. I want a big TV. But what I did instead, because I'm the type of person that is a hustler, is I messaged, I think, 7 or 8 different agents, and I was looking to start branding my product. And
Mm-hmm.
I looked into buying Shrine Pro because right now I have the regular Shrine payment. It's like a $200 upgrade or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I looked into getting a video editor. I looked into all this different stuff. I wasn't going to just be like, okay, I worked for 2.5 years to get to this point, and this is enough. That's not how it is. That's not the type of person that I am, and that's not the type of person that anyone who actually makes a significant amount of money online is. We're all hustlers, and we're all looking to get to that next step. Because, like you said, if we're not going to do it, then there's going to be some hungry kid from Ukraine or some hungry kid from Western Pennsylvania that is going to overtake you, and they're going to crush you. Like that's how it is. There's no remorse in absolutely crushing another dropshipper. I don't feel bad at all for making a way better product page, making a way better ad, and absolutely crushing someone that isn't willing to put in the work to do what I do.
Man, this is I think there's just so many lessons here. So I have some questions here from Instagram. What is the benefits of earning more money when you're young, and how do you handle the money? So I think you just answered that. You're just reinvesting back into the business because, on initial stage of the business, that's what you have to do. You have to reinvest it to make better product, better ads, build your team. And that just, part of what builds that success. And again, like any business, right? Like if you build some other business, you still have to reinvest into it. Like if you want it to grow, if you just want to like be like stagnant, I mean, but it's really like, it's really not possible to maintain like kind of, if you're not reinvesting back into the business, it's really hard to maintain the same results for a long period of time because there's some other people that are reinvesting into the business, right? And you have to do it as well if you want to build the business to a substantial momentum. It's just something that, again, I think it's kind of comes down to the expectations that people have when starting the business, that it won't be like, first of all, it won't be instantaneous. Second, they have to reinvest money back into the business to create a better product, create better experience, create better, ads, landing pages, eventually build the team, right? So now it's even more like better infrastructure for them to grow farther instead of just taking the money and spend it, on whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, I grew up in, my parents are not rich by any means, but I grew up in a very, like, people use the term food secure, where you're like, I've never been worried about not having food on the table, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the money is not the biggest deal for me. I had to go through so many personal development things. I had to go through so much personal growth to go from being a kid in my freshman year that thought that I could spend 2 weeks on drop shipping and drop out, to now where I'm the type of person who works even though he doesn't want to. I work every day no matter what. I don't party, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't vape, I don't do any of the stuff that would cause me to not have the best results possible. I'm trying not to eat junk food. That's probably the most difficult thing. But like, you have that personal growth for me has been the absolute biggest thing. I think the money comes second. And in reality, it does come second, because you have to grow to be the type of person that makes a shit ton of money to then make a shit ton of money. It doesn't come, it's not the other way around.
Yeah. And even when you have a lot of money, right? Like now you still have to like protect it, right? Now there's probably a lot of people that want to take that money from you, or, you still have the competition. So those things never go away. So entrepreneurship is more like a lifestyle, right? Where it's kind of like a lifetime obsession, right? About like winning and making things better. And as you said, serving your customers. So when you have customers, like, okay, how to make the product a little bit better? How do we make, the customer experience a little bit better? How do we make the marketing a little bit better? How do we make, our team stronger so that, the team can innovate and it's not just, purely dependent on you. And so all of those things are kind of, they're not instantaneous. And I think that's probably, yeah, they take time to kick in. But once they kick in, let's say a few years in the business, like we have actually, it resonates, your story resonates with me so much because we have a client, his name is Braden Hadley. So he has a very similar story to yours. I have an interview on my YouTube channel. You guys can check it out. He was in college. He started the business on the side. It was a kind of like up and down, like the same as it was for you. Then he joined our community. He joined ESS. Now he's in our mastermind, and so he was doing it also. Like he was studying in college and he was running the business on the side. This last year, I think mid of the year, he just graduated in May or something, and he went on business full time. And in December, he made his first $1 million a month in sales. And but all of that foundation that he built, like all the skills that he built, I mean, it took him like probably like 2 years, two solid years to get to that point. And now he's very sharp. He knows how to deal with issues. He knows how to scale products. He knows how to find products, brand products. Like now it's like he's a weapon, at this stage. And so, but it takes like time to get to this stage. And if people have this like proper expectation, okay, I'm getting into the business. Yes, initially it will be like not as fast probably as I want, but eventually I'll build a skill set that will make me like, first of all, as you said, it's not just like, growing like business results and generating sales and profit, but also becoming like a better person, like entrepreneur that can handle these challenges that come your way, right? And just evolving through that, from one stage to another. So I wanted to ask you about like what was your experience like with BBA, with our team so far, and what are the most like valuable things that we've been able to help you with?
Yeah, so I absolutely love BBA. This is coming from someone that has bought, or maybe I shouldn't say this, but pirated a good amount of courses, and watched a lot of YouTube videos from, I can name like 20 different gurus right now of all their full YouTube courses that I've watched. And I really don't think anything compares to BBA. I'm so glad that I joined. So the structure for people that are watching is you have the course. There's 10 phases of the course. So you start out with the mindset parts, and then you have the product research, creating your ads, creating your landing page, and then creating your ads. There's a beginner video ads course, and then there's the advanced course. And then you have your email marketing, your text message marketing. You have your CRO from Carl. I know everyone loves Carl. I was just watching his stuff last night. But yeah, so you have all your stuff from people that are doing ridiculous numbers like Carl. Like there's a whole module from Carl Weiss who does just absolutely ridiculous numbers, and it's like personalized training from him. So it's just amazing. And then there's different stuff. So you have in the course, you still have the Pinterest stuff, you have Google Ads stuff, you have all of the TikTok stuff, which I've recently dove into because there's less restrictions. There's no business manager, stuff like that. They have all that course, and then you have the weekly calls. So there's 2, sometimes 3 calls a day for 6 days a week. And the coaches are just absolutely amazing. They stay on and they've literally answered every single one of my questions. I think that's what's been the most valuable for me, because I ask so many questions, and I'm absolutely not afraid to ask questions. And I'm probably like the most annoying person on the calls. Everyone else that's waiting behind me is probably like, I wish this kid would just hurry up so I could go. But I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't care. So I get every single one of my questions answered. And then we have the one-on-one calls, and that's been absolutely so valuable. So, my guy that I love is Tommy Castellano. I know has had at least 1 or 2 interviews with you. And for those that don't know, he joined about a year ago, and he just posted the screenshot in BBA. I don't know if you posted it on your story yet, but he has like $69,000 in a month.
Let's fucking go. I didn't see that yet. Ooh.
He just posted it yesterday. His post was about how he had to turn off his Shopify notifications because his phone was like blowing up so much from the sales. So he's the one-on-one calls with him are absolutely incredible. It really shifted my mindset into how hard work is so like such an important part of the process. Like he's literally like me, he's just like a normal dude from New York. He's from New York, but just like completely normal dude that found the opportunity of drop shipping and tried a bunch of product tests like me and didn't have any success, and then had a switch flip where he was like, oh shit, I have to actually learn this stuff. I have to actually be the type of person that makes a bunch of money online. So he became that person. And then now he's a coach he was probably going to make 80 or 90 grand in sales this month. And I'm like, I really feel like I'm like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever months behind him. And yeah, so I mean, the one-on-one calls with him are so inspiring and amazing. And then obviously the WhatsApp group, I don't know. For those that don't know, there's Matt Anderson in the group, the coach. Dude, he is amazing. I know he goes to church and all that stuff like early Sunday morning, and I've had him answer my questions at 2, 3 a.m. on a Saturday night, and it's just the amount of care that people have that the coaches have in BBA has been amazing. I've never once felt like I was not getting my questions answered. And then the other big part is the community. I mean, there's 1,000 people on school, and I've met so many people that are also so inspiring to me. I mean, you could scroll through, I could scroll through my school DMs, and I have like 30, 40 different people that are making a good amount of money. Like a lot of them are making $1,000 a day. You know, they've had their interview or whatever, and I have like crazy chat logs with them of me asking them, looking back now, like really stupid questions, but like everyone that I've ever talked to in BBA has been so just amazing. I love everyone. I know I got to shout out my guy Joe Spinelli is watching right now. I told him to watch. He's at work right now, but he's still watching, and that dude's so inspiring to me. Yeah, everyone. I love BBA. I love everyone in BBA.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, it's like it's work in progress, right? And we're always looking for, you know, how we can improve the product, how we can improve the experience. And you know, it's never ending process. Same with your like e-commerce business. You know, we're trying to bring these people to the team. Like Matt Anderson, he successfully sold his e-commerce business. You know, now he's helping people in the community. Tommy Castellano, it's like he's literally like a case study of what is possible if you commit to one opportunity for an extended period of time and just put in the work that's required to make that business successful. And for me, it's like, how do we? I think the important thing, right? Like, so with BBA on, you know, for people watching now, it's when you join the mentorship, when you join, you know, whatever resources, you know, can help you in achieving your goals. Like in this case, building e-commerce business, you just have to take full advantage of it, right? You just have to ask questions. You just have to be proactive, right? You just have to utilize all the resources. Like we put together all of these resources for everyone, right? But as you said, like, you know, not everyone is taking advantage. You know, there are some people joining the calls and they're not even asking questions, right? I'm just here to listen. You know, I've conducted so many calls myself, and I still have, you know, calls on a weekly basis in our ESS program, in the Elite program. And, you know, some people just come without questions. And I'm like, you probably have some questions. Let's, you know, just think about the challenges that you have, right? Think about the things that you can do better, that you can get some external feedback on. And I'm an investor. I'm spending myself, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for coachings, for trainings, for myself, you know, for my team. And it is important to take advantage of all of the resources, because it's kind of like it's both sides relationships. Like both, you know, we provide all of this whole platform. We provide all of this, you know, infrastructure for people to take advantage of. But at the end of the day, it's predicated on the person that is willing to take advantage of all those resources, right? And just like learn and apply and get some feedback on, okay, so what did it do wrong, right? What can be done better in this particular situation? And then constantly every day you become like 1%, even like 0.5% better. Then it is just inevitable that in like 6-12 months you will become like pretty fucking good. And so, and I think that's important for people to realize, not just with BBA. Obviously, you know, I'm prejudiced that it is the best product in the market, and thank you for kind words as well. I think there's always some work that we can do better, and we you know, we're always looking for like feedback on what we can do better. But I mean, at the end of the day, whatever mastermind, community, membership, course you're in, just take full advantage. I see like how much, you know, people saying, oh, it's like doesn't work for me. It's like, and then I look at the stats and they watched like 3 videos. I'm like, how, like, by what force of nature are you expecting to make it work if you're not proactive from your side, right? Like, it just like doesn't work this way. Whatever your endeavor is, like if you want to commit to something, just commit, go all in. We're here to help you out with all the resources, but I mean, you have to be proactive and you know, that attitude, as you said, like asking a lot of questions. Sometimes those are stupid questions, right? As long as like you don't ask like, okay, so now you got answer. Now next time you ask a little bit better question. Now next time you ask a little bit better question, you probably, as you said, you can look into your chat history how the quality of your questions has evolved, right, over time, because it's just inevitable once you commit to something. So thank you so much for being proactive. You know, as I said, like annoying. I find that with a lot of people that are successful, they're just like they're just like, okay, they just want to understand things, right? And they're asking questions. Sometimes those are not the best questions, but over time, as you ask questions and you improve with all of those questions, as long as you're not asking the same question today that you asked like 6 months ago, right? Then you inevitably, just by statistically, right, you become better and you become like really, you know, good at what you do.
Yeah, that's a great point of being proactive. I mean, I know we kind of already covered it, but I joined BBA and I was in for a month and a half and I wasn't working. I wasn't working hard. And I still don't know how to explain it because I mean, I'm coming up on my end of college, so I don't have any like job lined up for that. I took out the BBA money on a credit card and then did the balance transfer. So obviously I had time to pay that back. So it wasn't like a huge deal, but still, like I took the money out on the credit card and I still didn't have any sense of urgency. So I know that there's people watching right now that don't have any sense of urgency. And I'm just a great example of, as soon as you start actually working hard and being honest with yourself about how much work you're putting in and how good you actually are, that's when you actually start seeing results. I use this thing called Toggle Track that someone in BBA.
What is that? Toggle?
Yeah, Toggle Track. The toggle doesn't have an E in it, but yeah, it's Toggle Track. It you like just like it's like a one button you just press and it tracks how much time you're working. So I have been using that now because I realized that I had to be honest with myself about how much work I was putting in, because I was going to my college classes thinking about my ecom stuff pretty much all day and being about how, like, you know, sitting in class daydreaming about how I should be driving a Lamborghini right now, but instead I'm in my I'm in my college class. You know, thinking about it all day, and then I get home and then I would cook dinner, eat dinner, and then lay on the couch, and then eventually I'd go to bed, and I'd wake up the next day, and I'd have nothing to show for the day at all, like literally absolutely nothing. All I did was dream all day, and eventually it kind of hit me like, holy shit, I feel like I'm working on ecom stuff all day, but I'm not. Like, I'm actually not getting any results. So now I use Toggle Track and I go sit at my desk. I put my blue light glasses in. That's like my trigger to start working. And I turn my Toggle Track on, and I see the timer right there. I have 3 monitors, so I have like one monitor that's just set to Toggle Track, and I see the time right there, and I actually know how much I'm working every day because I was just simply not working enough. I think it's very difficult to work a shit ton and learn a shit ton and actually like make money, but it's so simple. You just have to put in the work.
You mentioned one great thing. So I'll just ask you this, and then we'll have to wrap up. I have applied, and I know you also have some things to to attend. Um, so you mentioned that thing with blue light glasses, right? So you kind of like have your like switch, right? When you have like a working mode. I think that's so important. It's like a habit. It's like Power Habit or something, or that book, Habit. Like, what's the name of the? I remember there's like a book where you need to have a trigger, right? When you're like in a working mode, right? And then you kind of like train your brain that like, okay, when you're in that mode, you're working. And I think that's also so important for people, because it's so fucking hard, man. Like these platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, they're so fucking addictive. They're literally created by people that are behavior scientists that know how to suck you in, right? And like you just go from one to another, one to another, one to another, right? And now you just spend like 5 hours a day just scrolling like different apps, right? Without like actually, getting nothing done. And that's how I believe that's how for most people are. Like it's that kind of behavior patterns. And so, like, how did you discover that kind of like trigger point for you? Did you just create it yourself? Did you just experiment it with different things? How did you create that powerful mode?
It was in BBA, which is funny, but I know in the mindset modules you have the one video where you talk about your fedora hat.
Yeah.
that was literally it. I was like, oh shit, I need blue light glasses. Because I need blue light glasses anyway, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna use that as my trigger. So like I literally I sit down, I have my glass of water, and I have my blue light glasses. I put my blue light glasses on, and then I used to be so addicted to Snapchat, to Instagram, whatever, and then I don't even think about any of that shit when I have my blue light glasses on and I'm at my laptop working. So I think that's like a huge hack. And then obviously, if you don't have something like that, then just literally just delete those apps. I mean, I have everything deleted right now anyway.
Wow.
I don't think that
You don't have Instagram on your phone?
So right now I do have Instagram for product research, but I
Uh-huh.
didn't have it from last October. So not like 5 months ago, but like 15 months ago, whatever. From last October until I joined BBA, I didn't have Instagram, I didn't have Snapchat, I didn't have anything. And for the first literally it was for the first like few days, it was hard. And then I realized, oh, like the stuff that I'm seeing on there doesn't matter at all, and no one's gonna even notice like I'm gone, and I don't care to see what other people are posting. Like no people in their heads make it seem like everyone cares about what everyone else is doing, but like that's just not true. No one cares that you're scrolling on Snapchat for 15 minutes a day or for 30 minutes a day or for 0 minutes a day. No one's going to notice. So I deleted all that stuff. I still have YouTube, which is I think is my biggest vice. But honestly, I productively procrastinate watching these interviews, watching a whole bunch of other different people. So it's definitely productive procrastination, but it's still a time waster. But yeah, I mean, I deleted all that stuff, and I had my blue light glasses as like the trigger, and I mean, I literally I went from being on my phone. You can see my screen time. I had like 9 or 10 hours a day. I was like so addicted to my
Wow.
phone. And now I could work at my computer. I mean, I have my toggle track. You could see like the blocks of time that you work. I have each day I have a block of like 2.5, 3 hours where I'm working and like I don't even pick up my phone. And I think that really goes back to being the type of person who is going to succeed. You can't be addicted to your phone and addicted to scrolling through Instagram and looking at cat videos or whatever, and also be the type of person who makes a shit ton of money online. That's just not how it works. You have to level up.
My man, so this is so inspiring. I highly recommend for everyone who's watching this to like rewatch it, take notes, because there's so many like great takeaways from this conversation, and so many things that people can apply, just like in their life, right? Like whatever they want to do. Maybe they don't want to do e-commerce, maybe they want to do something else, right? But like still, whatever you want to do requires like time, attention, focus. And if you're able to do that, you just get like a massive competitive advantage, right? Like everyone else is like distracted on their phones, like, and you just get that, powerful focus time where you do what you need to do. And then eventually, if you do that for extended period of time, for months, like that just starts kicking in. All of it just inevitable that you learn and you become good. And my man, thank you so much for joining me today, with all of your busy schedule, with your e-commerce business, with your college classes. So I don't know, how do people connect with you if people want to, like, maybe some like-minded people, maybe someone watching from Pennsylvania, like maybe they live in the same city. How do people connect with you?
Yeah, I guess my Instagram is public. My Instagram is just my name, just Mitchell Olm, no dots, no spaces, no capitalization, no anything. It's just Mitchell Olm. So if you want, you could follow me on there. DM me. I'd be happy to give you my number, my WhatsApp, whatever, and I'd be happy to answer all your questions. I would be happy to tell you more about my story. I mean, we didn't even get into how I buy and sell motorcycles to pay for product tests. That's what I've always
been. Yeah, we didn't cover that. So
yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of money struggles with paying for this. I mean, I'm a broke college, or I was a broke college kid. I guess I could say was now, but I was a broke college kid, and I found a way to level up and time the market right where I could sell my car and take the risk of paying for the mentorship with a credit card and pay for the product test by, buying. And so I'm on my fourth right now. I just got I'm looking at my phone. I just got a message. Someone wants to buy the Suzuki that I have right now.
What's Suzuki?
SV650 is like a naked bike. It's not that fast. It only goes like 130.
Oh man. So we, I like to do, like, when we do these interviews, I want to set up another like benchmark. When we connect for the second interview, that's when you hit your first 100K a month with your business, and looking at kind of like how focused you are, how dedicated you are to this business. I think it will be pretty soon. Yeah, it's very inspiring story for people watching. It's there's so many takeaways, right? If you just like rewatch it, just kind of the behavior patterns, right? Like your case study of kind of what like you went from like the way that how most people do it, which is like kind of distracted way and like having these like misaligned expectations with reality, versus now like you know exactly what it takes to build a business, right? And you're putting those like daily reps in order to turn that into reality. So it's an amazing case study, Mitchell, and thank you so much for dedicating yourself through BBA, to just actually being proactive. As I mentioned, it's so important to be proactive. Doesn't have to be BBA. Like if you don't want to join BBA, like or you want to do something else with your life, it's totally fine. But just like dedicate yourself to it and just put those daily reps in, so that in 2 years from now you become like really dangerous entrepreneur.
Yeah, that would absolutely be my message to everyone that is watching. Is you don't. Sorry, can I have 1 sec?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry, I'm in the public library right now because my Wi-Fi at home is not good. I overstayed my welcome.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
This is called being resourceful, right?
Yeah. My message to everyone is literally, like if your medium isn't dropshipping, that's perfectly fine. Like whatever you're gonna do it with your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Dedicate your entire self. Delete your social media. Stop drinking. Whatever it is that you have to do, and dedicate yourself entirely to do it, because you will win. I think I'm the case to do that. You will win if you dedicate yourself.
Mitchell, thank you so much, my man. Thank you so much for joining me. So yeah, we'll drop your I'll type it here. So Mitchell Home here,
no
and
spaces. Yeah.
No spaces.
Yeah, no spaces, no dots, no anything. Just Mitchell Home.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, for being resourceful, for joining this call from public library, and I'm looking forward to having another conversation with you when your business is 100K months. And we are in WhatsApp, so I'll give you some some advice on the ad accounts and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your next benchmarks. And thank you so much for sharing this inspiring story today.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. This has been amazing. I can't wait to get to 100K a month.
Awesome. Thank you, Mitchell. And yeah,
Yeah,
thank you everyone for watching. Yeah, I just dropped Mitchell Instagram, and so you can connect with him. And yeah, man, I'll see you at 100K months.
awesome. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.